Right then, hello everybody, welcome back to what is now episode 4 of Infinity Isles, my Planet Coaster 2-part series. I just want to say quickly before I get into any sort of rambling and I forget stuff that I want to say, I just want to say an absolutely massive thank you to everyone for the support on the videos so far on the channel. I believe the episode 3 now is up to almost 600 views at the time of me recording this, so I'm really grateful for that. If you guys are returning from that video, I thank you a lot for that. And also, if you haven't already, like and subscribe. I think over 97% of you watching the videos aren't subscribed. So it'd be really great if we get that number down a little bit and get some more subscribers and try and push for 500 before the end of the year. But episode 4 here for Planet Coaster, sure, as I just said. This is going to be a bit all over the place. In the title, of course, you'll see that it's going to be building an INTAMIN accelerator today. But that's not what I'm starting with. I'm starting with a bit of theming for my B&M surf coaster, which you can see just off camera. I did a little bit of pathing and also terrain work just to see where I wanted to fit in and also where I wanted that splashdown to fit in. And then basically I'm working the path around that splashdown because you want to be able to get some really good views of that, because when I do get that all set up, that is going to look really cool. I've never really built a splashdown before, so it's going to be an experiment. Hopefully it all goes all right, but of course with the new event sequence, hopefully it should be easier than it was on Planet Coaster 1. I'm using some of the resort, mix of the resort and some of the Viking pieces here. The sort of idea I wanted to go for the station building was like, you know, you go to a beach and you see them sort of huts that have like surfboards or like swimming gear or whatever stored in them. I wanted to go for that, but I don't know, I felt like the structure I was trying to go for, it was quite like too blocky almost. I don't really think it fitted the aesthetic that I wanted to go for, so I just started a new experiment here using the bamboo pillars. These are all from the resort theme, I believe, these bamboo pillars, and basically just copying all those across. I'm going to basically just have the bottom of it with all the bamboo, like 4 meter, 2 meter walls or whatever, and then all around the top will just be like the bamboo poles and some fences and stuff like that. But as you can see here, I'm just advanced moving a few things there just to try and get them all lined up perfectly, because I do like to try and get these things as lined up as perfectly as possible. I'm a bit of a perfectionist and a bit OCD when it comes to that, but then also I just realized that the color was probably a bit too bright, so I'm changing the color now just to fit the bamboo poles, just to make it all look nice and snazzy. And then we use these resort wall trims, which are also bamboo. I quite like that I've actually searched up bamboo and it's used the material. I don't know if it did this in Planet Coaster 1, but the materials come up rather than just like having to type, you know, resort wall trim or whatever. Just using those basically as just fences to make sure you guests just don't like jump off of the station platform. So they're basically just there as a sort of don't jump off, a bit of a deterrent sort of thing, as all stations do have, but especially this one is going to be quite exposed. I kind of going for the vibe of an accelerator and not very far. The station for that is, in terms of how it's built up, it's pretty like a hollow station. It just has a roof with some poles around the side holding that all up on the station platform. That's the sort of aesthetic I wanted to go for. Obviously there are other rides that do that, but to be honest, that's the first one that's come to my mind. Just trying to get a smaller piece in there just to fit in there, and then just moving it all around and across. One thing I'm sure I mentioned before is I really hope they fix that when you switch to something else, like a shorter piece, the color just doesn't carry over. So I'm hoping that, I'm pretty sure that is going to be fixed in the December update, but that honestly cannot come soon enough. I'm making do for now, but it is definitely getting quite annoying. And actually in a minute there is going to be a dodgy jump cut, because I'm at this point in time on the time lapse, I'm just looking at this and I'm wondering what the hell do I do with this. I search up Viking roof. I know they had the little hay bale roofs and nothing was really working out. So to be honest, I decided to move over to something else that's going to go in this area. And this is going to be quite a big area actually compared to the others. Of course, the Apocalypse Island is going to have one other ride in there, but the coaster is what takes up the main thing. But this area is going to have 2 thrill coasters, and you can see here we're building a INTAMIN accelerator, as of course, as I said. I'd actually start building and then forgot I wasn't recording, so you missed the first little launch and twisted airtime hill. But this took not as long as I was expecting, but a lot of the building time actually was basically drawing out or making some elements taller or wider just because of the G-forces. I didn't really want to exceed over 4.5, so I thought like that would just become too intense for it, and I don't want it to be blackout intense, you know, like Coaster or Nemesis Reborn or something. I don't want it to be like pulling insane like 5Gs or whatever on the corners, which it did do before I changed it up. But I didn't actually start building this actually with the I'm pretty sure it's called the Energy Coaster. So that's basically just like your bog standard original INTAMIN accelerator, you know, with train like Stealth or Rita. But I wasn't really vibing with how the layout was going. I wasn't really sure what to do, and also the trains are quite long for the sort of accelerator I wanted to do. I want to do a lot of ejector airtime moments, and because of how long the trains are, they don't really look like they were flowing over the hills. That and the airtime hills were quite drawn out, and I didn't really like it. So I decided to switch it up, and I'm using the newer style track, which is not Red Force, because obviously it's not LSM, but it's basically Red Force track and trains, but with an old hydraulic launcher like Formula Rossa, for example, even though I think Rossa's trains are still quite long. But I made the train shorter than normal because I wanted them to be smaller, so they can like fly over those airtime hills more, and they can be sharper airtime hills and sharper turns without, you know, killing people on the back of the train. That's basically my thinking behind that with this coaster. Lots of ejector airtime moments. As I said, twisted airtime. I had a lot of fun playing around with those. I think I've got 2 twisted airtime hills in this layout. I wanted to try and keep it as compact as possible. So where the station was, I didn't want to exceed past that point. And I also, where the path is here, going into the sort of area where the surf coaster is, I didn't really want to exceed that. So I'm basically just doing lots of turnarounds to try and just get the train. I want to have a good length on the coaster. I don't want it to be short like Rita, but I want it to have, it is inspired by Rita, by the way. It's an accelerator that, you know, isn't in the traditional sense an accelerator like Rita, or obviously it's clone Desert Escape at, the Desert Escape or Desert Chase? That one, no, Heidi Park it's that, I think, I don't know. A lot of rambling already from me so far. I know it's probably exhausting listening to me, but once I start saying one thing, I'm off with something else. But this coaster, it didn't take me too long, so there's not much left of the rambling left to go. But yeah, I'm really happy with how the layout looks so far on this, and also the finished layout. I'm really happy with. This is probably the bit that actually took the most time, trying to it was constantly pulling over 5G, and I was like, why is it pulling over 5G? And then I got it sorted, and then the airtime hill was a bit all funky, so I had to switch that around. But I did eventually get there, and I actually really like that turn down from the airtime hill into that turnaround to come back towards the station. But that they're just, now that I kind of know how the layout's going to go, build the normal thing I do my little raised brake run course. Always build your brake runs always build your brake runs layered. A bit of a tongue twister there, actually. Always build them raised, because that's just how they are in real life for the most part, you know. Then that means the reason they are made like that is so that the brakes basically don't have to wear out by pushing the trains along as well as stopping them. So that's basically just a sort of catalyst to stop from doing that. And you can see we're coming towards the end of the layout here. Does that turn around into a sort of floater hill just to try and reach over the tracks? Obviously, I've got collisions turned off, but I still kind of know when it's going to hit something. And that kind of wrapped me up towards the end. I didn't actually like that. I felt like I was twisting to the right too much, so I decided to do a change the off-axis airtime hill, change it to go towards the left, and I think that does actually look really good. For some reason, my coaster at the moment, there is actually one coaster that I've built for this park already, but you haven't seen it yet. It's not ready to be shown yet. Like, that will be in a later video. It's going to be towards the back of the park, so it's not going to be ready quite yet. But I had a really good time building off-axis airtime hills there, and I'm kind of obsessed with them at the moment. Like, obviously, not really any coasters in the UK apart from Hyperion had these off-axis airtime moments, but I did, obviously, like Hyperion, Zadra, and Let Coaster in Poland all have off-axis airtimers, especially Let Coaster's one towards the end is actually really good. And I kind of got a bit of a obsession with them at the moment, and I feel like Intamin and both Gertzlauer probably could. I mean, Intamin do off-axis, I believe, but Gertzlauer especially, I feel like that could add to this sort of whippy sort of airtime thing. So you'll see that as a little tease to what is coming later in the series. To be honest, that video for that coaster might not even be out till the new year. I'm not quite sure whereabouts I'm going to fit that into the timeline yet, but that coaster is built and almost ready to go, but it's just not quite ready for the sort of flow of the series yet. I want to try and work my way around in an orderly matter, so I'm trying my best. But of course, because of technical issues, I did end up building a surf coaster first before finishing the theming for the Apocalypse area, so I'm kind of lacking behind. I don't want to try and just keep doing my plan was basically to do one episode build layout, one episode theme layout. That kind of take a bit of a turn, so I'm just trying to catch myself back up with there. But the theming for the surf coaster isn't quite ready for its own video yet, and the next episode is probably going to incorporate the finishing of the surf coaster theming and also the theming of this coaster as well. This area is not really going to be sort of themed, it's going to be more stylized like Stealth. And I've almost run out of footage already, so thank you so much for watching. I've done a lot more rambling again for 10 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all those sort of things so you're notified when new Planet Coaster videos come out. Really means a lot to me that you've stuck around for this long, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.